Hello everybody, my name is Jacob Lambros and I'm here to implement my solution to the projected implementation project for this assignment. So, wanted to give you a little project kickoff and implementation of the project. So a little bit about myself. I work at Grand Canyon University. I'm actually getting my master's degree in project management right now. I'm almost finished, almost completed. And with this, I wanted to pursue my career. And the reason I chose a project management is because that career is actually construction. I want to kind of get into the construction project atmosphere of the project management and managing that area of expertise. Now, there are a lot of problems with project management and construction as well. But there is one that I wanted to kind of focus in on today. Now this problem kind of goes along with a lot of construction companies, and that's project delays right here. So project delays can be a very, very big issue in regards to construction and the actual project itself. Now there's different project delays that can happen as long as the project is going on. I am looking to kind of work into the housing department as far as the construction goes. So housing and building the houses is really what I'm kind of looking into, and what this problem is kind of circled around. So the first problem that we have is weather. That could be a very big issue as far as rain, snow, as well as heat for the workers, excessive heat, as well as, especially in Arizona, weather can be a definite delay in regards to the project. Reworking the design if for some reason the owner wanted to switch up the design of the project, we'd have to rework that, which would implement the project delay. Now the last one, the one I wanted to talk a little bit more about, is the change orders. Now a change order is basically a subcontractor that has an order at the very beginning of the project, and something happened, whether there's a lack of information, didn't have all the information and needed some more materials, or something happened as in an accident, something broke, needed to get more materials. They would actually submit a change order, meaning document everything that happens with that subcontractor. That way at the end of the project, there's a bill that goes out to that subcontractor. So there are a lot of project delays, and that is kind of what I wanted to talk about today as far as my solution for those projects. Now the solution that I have here is actually a two-step process. Now the step one is for all of the subcontractors to actually walk the entire job site. Now there's technically initially with the land and acquisition management, it could be just a blank slate. All right, but I want to make sure that the subcontractors get out there and really look at the property and envision their trade and what their expertise is into the project, and really take a look at what the situation's like and where they're going. Now the second one is probably the most vital, and that's going to have the total estimated costs. Now they're the expertise. They're the experts at what they do for the trades, and they have a mindset of what they're going to need as far as all the materials, the inventory, transportation, how long it's going to take, all those different variables. But that's what's going to be needed to know up front. And going back to those change orders with the problems, is the change orders, they change over time through the span of the project. Hoping that through the entire job site walkthrough, as well as the total estimated cost analysis at the very beginning, we'll have a good picture of what the subcontractor will need as far as how much it will cost to complete that project. Now, there are stakeholders that are going to be involved in the project. A lot of beneficiary stakeholders, including your family, team, your manager. There's also going to be organizational stakeholders, including the shareholders or the investors, the co-workers, the suppliers, and the lenders of those materials, as well as the community at large. This can be involved to the customers, the owners of the home, trade associates, so anybody dealing with the trade, and really the general public, the general community at large. Now, with the stakeholders here, there was that power interest grid that we filled out for the assignment. I want to go over that briefly here. The section that I had, the high power, low interest section there, I actually had the people in the corporate office, the corporate world, like the CEO, CFO, COO, any of the sales department. They're going to be worried about the numbers and the high power focus there, as well as the shareholders, the investors there. The low power interest, the people who are really, really interested about the house, but not necessarily too interested about the power of that house. I actually put in the facilities, inventory, logistics, the supply chain, the general contracting workers, the people on the ground building the house. They're going to be having more say in the actual house itself versus the people in the office. Now the people right in the middle, high power, high interest, I have human resources, the operations, and most importantly the project management team that's going to be in charge of the house itself. Now, getting into, again, my proposed solution for the problem, the real problem of the delays that's going on in projects. Like I mentioned before, we have step one, subcontractors walk that job site. Step two, the total estimated cost implemented there. Now we wanted to hit on the goal. Now the goal, I touched on it earlier, but the goal of this is to decrease the amount of change orders. Now change orders, they cost more money, they cost more time, they cost more materials, more resources, more inventory, everything like that. It can really, really put a damper on that deadline that the shareholders, the investors, everybody in the organization kind of rely on for the project. And then I also put in there minimal to no problems. That's going to be a consequence of the decrease in the change orders. If we can decrease the change orders, there's not going to be as many problems, and we're going to minimize the amount of delays that we're going to see in the actual project itself. Now with this, there are a lot of people that get impacted by the solution that I have as far as decreasing those change orders and increasing the amount of productivity and efficiency in the project. Now the subcontractors are going to be able to be impacted because they need to know what they're going to be doing. Now with that decreasing change order, they're going to be able to know exactly what they're going to be doing, as well as know exactly what materials they need, what money they're going to need in regards to completing that project, as well as how much time they're going to be using for this actual project itself. And we'll have a good grasp on that by kind of reeling up the subcontractors and seeing what they really need to do for the project itself. Also, project managers, the project management team, they're the ones that are going to be managing the subcontractors, so they're going to be the ones that need to know their deadlines, when they're going to be doing things, when they're going to be completed, and make sure that they're on schedule, because that's going to be the biggest thing as far as management. Make sure everybody's on schedule, everyone's working right, and minimizing, again, going back to the previous slide, minimizing the amount of problems that are going to be going on in here as well. Now, my form of management is more on a macro side. I'm not going to be, looking over the shoulders of the subcontractor, making sure that every detail is correct. That's not really how I manage. I'm be able to trust them to kind of, do their trade, do their subcontracting company in the best way possible. And I know that through experience, through the company and everything like that. But they're the experts. They're the people that are going to be doing the actual work. So they're going to be the ones that are, going through those trades and everything like that, as well as periodic checks. Now every week I'll probably have different checks going on with different subcontractors, as well as monthly and weekly checks on them, and just to make sure that they're on schedule and everything is up to plan. Now speaking of that plan, we have the timeline here as far as everything goes. So when doing more research about the actual process of the house and being able to implement all that, bring that together in a timeline, I actually divided up the external versus the internal, and also the details on there as well. So external is going to include the floor base, the concrete. Once the concrete gets laid and solidified, all of the walls and framing, as well as the roof, kind of build together to shape up the actual house itself. Now moving to the interior, this is where things are going to start to get a little more detail oriented with the electrical, the plumbing, and the HVAC. So the electrical, they'll plug in all the circuits into the walls and everything before all the plaster and all the detail work on the inside goes in. The plumbing, they'll put all the pipes in, especially in the bathrooms and the kitchens, as well as the HVAC for all of the AC, heating, ventilation. They'll be in the roof, fixing all of that and putting all of that together. Now, the exterior typically takes about a month. The interior, with all of three of those, as well as different trades and subcontractors. In addition to that, typically that takes about 3 weeks. Now the detail work, I didn't put any in there because all the detail is dependent on what the owner wants on the inside of their house. So the detail work, typically depending on the owner, typically takes about 3 months. So in total, from start to finish for this house, we're looking at about 5 months, just under 5 months. All right, now with this, communication is a huge factor, especially in the management of a project. Everybody needs to be in communication with each other to, again, minimize accidents, minimize problems, and minimize the amount of delays that go on in the project itself. Now, communication, officially starting it off today on the kickoff to you stakeholders, here to communicate to you my solutions to the problems that are at hand. Communication as well with you. I will hold periodic progress meetings, called PPMs for short. Periodic progress meetings. It is a tongue twister. Those I'm gonna have with the stakeholder just to make sure that everything is on track, ready to go. And if there are any mishaps or delays, that we document those, and then next project we work to minimize those as well, including the progress in those meetings, as well as the informal form of communication, emails and phone calls. Again, just in case something were to happen, we let everybody know, hey, this happened, and these are going to be the actions after that to kind of help the project move more efficiently to reach that deadline. So that is it for me to hear today. I am here to kind of help see the problem, help the solution, and hopefully get to rocking out on that house. Thank you so much.